In this video, I'm going to be covering what creates a winning cold email script, cold email messaging in 2026. I'm going to be covering the basic fundamentals. I'm going to be covering some high converting email templates. And I'm also be talking about like the most important concept when it comes to cold email messaging, which is the offer and what to sort of expect in terms of results from the messaging that you create, depending on the offer that you have. Because at the end of the day, you can write a terrible cold email, but if you have a phenomenal offer that you're sending to like a blue ocean market, you're still gonna get results. But vice versa. If you have a terrible offer, but you write the best, you do all of the fundamentals right, you use the best cold email script frameworks, you're probably still not gonna get results. Like at the end of the day, you have to be selling something that people actually want, specifically when it comes to cold traffic. So I'm gonna be covering that concept first, and then I'll dive into the messaging fundamentals. But just getting to do some background myself, show you that what I'm talking about here comes from data, from the results that we generated. I run an outbound agency. I've worked with 100+ clients. My outbound agency, Pipeline.tech, we've worked with a bunch of clients across tons of different verticals. And here are just some results from campaigns that we've ran from them. On this campaign, 200,000 emails sent, 1,000 leads generated, getting around a 24% interested reply rate at 3% reply rate. 200,000 emails sent, so her 41 leads generated, 82,000 emails sent, 176, 148,000 emails sent, 186, so on and so forth. And I've done this across tons of different offers in pretty much every big industry you can think of. So I've found universal fundamental rules across all of this, which I'm going to cover all of these. But first, from my experience, I'm going to talk about the offers. So as I mentioned, not every offer, no matter what you do with your cold email messaging, is going to yield good results. And some offers are so good to where you can write a terrible email, but you'll still get results. So some examples, general metric guardrails for what to expect depending on your offer. So start with tough offers. Examples of tough offers are offers that are demand capture. And what demand capture means is essentially you're capturing already existent demand. So this is something you can't sell to people who don't have a demand for it already. Examples of this are things like recruiting or cybersecurity. These are two types of services where it's like you can't really convince someone that they need your cybersecurity solution, or you can't convince someone that they need to hire, right? The need already to be there. It's like, all right, I need protection for my company because I was just attacked. I just had a cybersecurity attack. Or I need AR, so I need to go to recruitment agency, right? You can't really you can't come to me and convince I need like another customer support rep, right? And typically these demand capture offers are going to end up in the tough offer category, as well as like hyper saturated offers, things like SEO or like pay per click. These aren't necessarily demand capture. It's just like the offer is so saturated and it's just a really outdated kind of offer. I mean, SEO is great. It still works. Like as a service, of course, like running SEO as a business is a good thing, but selling it as a service to cold traffic is pretty difficult because it's not really what people want right now. A lot of businesses need SEO, but it's not what they want. And the difference between what a business wants and needs, a lot of times are two different things, right? Example of this, let's say you run like an e-commerce marketing agency and you offer multiple things. You offer Facebook ads, TikTok shop, SEO, CRO, all these different services, and or like email marketing even. And let's say that like email marketing is the service that is going to help the clients the most. It's like the thing that they need the most. That's what they need. A lot of times it's like these e-com brands, they want TikTok shop instead. That's what they want. So what you do as a business, you want to lead with what the prospect wants and then cross-sell or upsell them into what they need. But the goal is to just get your foot in the door by presenting them what they want, a front-end offer, then you sell them into what they need. So if you're in this tough offer category, what do they actually want? Like what's a front-end offer I can put together that I can, get my foot in the door, capture their intent on the front end, then convert into our main service on the back end, right? That's how you build a really profitable funnel, is by leading with something they want, selling them something they need, and charging 10x for that thing that they need versus what they want, right? Anyways, tough offers, it's going to be demand capture, things like accounting. It's like, I can't convince you to need an accountant and audit your finances. Like people don't want that, right? These are very demand capture, and it's like, really, you can always sell them if the need is already there. Next is going to be like the decent offer category. So these are offers that they work. They're just kind of saturated typically. So like email marketing, ad creative, the email, even like cold email as a service. A lot of people are doing it. You're just in a really sophisticated market. So let's say you sell something that is a great service. It works. A lot of people, want it, but it's just kind of saturated. That's how people are saying cold emails for it. You're probably gonna end up in this category. You're gonna be around the 500 to 2,000 per interested lead ratio range. And in this category is when, still building a really strong front-end offer is gonna be important. For example, for myself, we run cold email campaigns for my cold email service. What I offer is a free cold to test our service. We even do this for our own business. So if you're interested in a free cold email campaign, you can come to my website and you can literally fill out the form there. But as a offer in the front end, I offer a free campaign. That's something that people want. It's not what they need long term, but it's something that people want. They want to test it out because with a service like mine, it's something that's really high speculation. There's a lot of distrust in the space since there's a lot of really crappy cold email agencies. So, or like just lead gen agencies in general. Same with like ad creatives, there's a lot of crap ad agencies and email marketing. And the reason why there's a lot of crap of them is because so many people are doing it, right? There's naturally going to be bad providers of the service. So leading with something that regains that trust is going to be very lead magnet. Email marketing, leading with like a free welcome flow or free email campaign. Ad creative, leading with a free ad creative. These are going to be important for this type of category here. Now, good offers are going to be offers for services or products that are really hot or aren't that saturated. So TikTok Shop, there's a good amount of TikTok Shop agencies. Not nearly as many as for email marketing agencies, but it's something that's really hot on the market right now. It's something that a lot of businesses want. So this is going to be in the good offer category. And the typical range I see for like offers like this, for like influencer marketing, something that people want, might not be what exactly they need. Maybe ad creative is probably what scales their business further than influencer. That's what people want. Around this like 250 to 500 contacts per lead ratio range, which is really solid. Others is going to be like, unique SaaS products, strong SaaS. Anything that is just like a hot offer in your market that you are aware of being hot is going to be in this category. And then the final category is going to be the incredible offer category. I didn't add examples here because it's typically for something that's like so random and in such a niche market. A few examples of this, they sell these like version of Meta glasses to roofers that essentially you can wear the glasses, they film the entire roofing project, and they generate an estimate for roofers with like their AI software, essentially. It's something that's so niche of a product, like probably there might only be like 10 companies in the world that do that. And it's for a good market, right? They don't receive as many emails as like SaaS companies or IT firms, right? So it's a really, really good solution, unique solution in a good market. And it's like we're getting in this like 50 to 250 contacts per lead ratio range, and it's really cooking. Another one is like waterproof. Like we had a client that was offering like a waterproof flooring solution to these architectural firms for their projects. And it's like that was doing incredible as well. But again, it's like something that's really very niche. When you think of cold email, you're not thinking about these offers. So it's really like it's typically for those offers that no one's really thinking that are in this incredible category. So
Wanted to put that here, but the
reason why I mention all of this is because the more difficult your offer is, the more essential following these fundamentals will be. So the further you are down the scale, the more important it is to follow these fundamentals. The higher up you are in the scale, the less important, right? So like as I mentioned, if you have an incredible offer, you can kind of do whatever you want. If you have a terrible offer, you really need to try to follow the fundamentals as much as possible. So diving into the messaging fundamentals, let me zoom in on this. So there's going to be 10 main fundamentals that are going to be here. The first one is going to be tailor messaging and offer a specific industry and segment and job. So essentially, write to the person that you were sending emails to. When you build and this kind of comes down to like the lead list that you build. So anytime you build a campaign, you start from the persona, right? Persona that you're going after, then you reverse engineer it, right? Because if you start with the messaging and then you build the list after, and you're just targeting any person in any industry, you can never write a relevant email. And at the end of the day, writing relevant emails is what gets results. That's what resonates. That's where people actually show interest. Is when they feel like you're speaking to them, right? So always tailor messaging to the specific industry or job title persona that you're growing. You never want to keep it super broad, unless if let's say you have an incredible offer and it doesn't really matter who you're targeting. You can just send the email to anybody and everyone resonates with it. Then sure. But if you're selling cybersecurity, you might want to only target companies who have had that you somehow detected a attack in the last 7 days and you're reaching to the head of the IT department. You're going to send a really specific message to that person. You have the absolute best chance of having a good hit rate with these campaigns. Number 2 is going to be written in a casual and easy to read tone. So with cold emails, you want to be writing at like a 6th grade reading level. You want to make it stupid simple to be able to read it. This is like a general marketing fundamental concept, right? when you're dealing with people, you want to make it as simple as possible for them to read it as quickly as possible. So there's zero confusion, because when there's confusion involved in this really fast sort of attention transaction that's happening over cold email, confused people always say no. They never say yes. They always default to saying no. So you never want them to be confused. And the easiest way to do this is wearing casual, easy to read tone.
Being like super professional and using really confusing words is just going to confuse them, make them annoyed, and they're going to click off.
So make it simple. Don't make it seem like a robotic cold email. Make it seem like essentially you're reaching out to a coworker friend of yours, right? That's what the
Sort of like vibe should be. Number 3, in terms of a subject line,
you just want to keep it a 1-3 word subject line. It's a lowercase. Example, let's say,
like company question, simple, or like about, topic.
And just keep it like all lowercase. You get subject lines. You don't have to overthink it.
You can just mention like whatever it is you're selling and be like, let's say you're selling, instead of saying selling outbound, my subject line would just be outbound. That's it. Because the subject line is not really the most important thing. Dive into the next point. What really gets the clicks and has a dramatic effect on open rate and people actually reading your email
is the preview text. So having a really good hook or like having pattern disrupts in your preview text is incredibly important, right? And typically what you want to do in the preview text is lead with your offer, lead with like a really relevant pain point. So get something that really captures attention. So
for example, for my campaign, let's say I scraped 10,000 ICP prospects. I campaign. How are you interested? Like I could fit that all in the preview text, because the preview text is going to have around like, I think it's around like 20 character or like 20 words
worth of text. This might be too long. Just like having this first part, at least, I scraped 10,000 ICP prospects, but then like for company name. It's like diving straight to offer is going to be what they see. They're going to read that preview text. Then they'll click on the email. Then you can dive into the rest of your offer from there. But, maximizing the hook and, pattern disrupt within your preview text is going to be significantly more important than having some like crazy subject line, right? Real subject line that people actually look at, that result in them clicking on the email and reading it. Next, this is more on like campaign level, but we only do 1 follow per campaign, or even no follow. The goal is to prioritize sending it to your contacts. So we don't want to be, because the first email is what always generates the most. So if that's the case, I want to push as much volume to the first email as possible, because the goal is to get as many replies as possible, get as many leads as possible. So might as well max it out, right? So only 1 follow-up per campaign max, even no follow-up works as well. Next, strong front-end offer and third-party offer for cold traffic. This is kind of what I was talking about, like when it comes to tough offers or decent offers. You want to have something on the front end, like the free email campaign, the free ad creative, anything along those, or something introductory that you can do for them as a part of your service is going to be really important for maximizing reply rate. And depending on how good your offer is, this can be applicable to anything. Any of these, no matter the offer you have, these strong front-end offers is always something good to run. Number 7, this kind of goes outside of the script as well, but having a really good B2B company founder is going to be really important. So when people read your email and maybe add some social proof or just anything you do within it, they need to see that you're legit, right? So when they go search you up, they have to see something. They better see like a LinkedIn that has at least a profile picture. Like if your LinkedIn has no profile picture and your website looks terrible, you're losing all credibility that you established in your email. So really refining your funnel is going to be absolutely critical. And 1000% do it before you do a cold email. If your funnel looks terrible, then you're just going to have low trust and people are going to be no-showing calls. Number 8, social proof adjacent to the industries that you're reaching out to. So if anytime you message social proof, you always want to keep it, as I mentioned, adjacent to the industries that you're reaching out to. It's a pretty simple concept. People, like if you're reaching out to a certain industry, they want to know if you worked with companies just like that. If I'm mentioning how I worked with McDonald's, but I'm reaching out to SaaS companies, it's not really relevant. Also the size of the company too. If I'm reaching out to small businesses, but I'm saying I worked with McDonald's, it's not relevant, right? I'm mentioning an enterprise when I'm reaching out to a 10-employee company. It's just 2 completely different cases. So if you're going to mention social proof, it needs to be aligned with the industry that you're working with. Otherwise, it's just not going to hit as hard. Number 9, your offer directly solve a persona level pain point or desire. So anytime we send email, we need to make sure that what we're selling to them is actually relevant to them. I mean, this kind of goes back to the beginning, but like if we're reaching out to the wrong people with our offer, then it's completely pointless. Doesn't matter what we're doing. We need to be, and the offer needs to solve something for their current situation. So if the offer doesn't align with the people that we're going after, then of course it makes no sense to reach out to them. Number 10, this is regarding AI personalization. Only use it
only use AI personalization when it makes sense.
I would say 90% of the email campaigns that we run don't have any AI personalization. There's been a lot of hype around AI personalization since we have access to tools like Claude Code and Clay, and we can do it for so cheap. Well, not even necessarily cheap, because doing this at scale, the API credits are too expensive. But if you're going to use AI personalization, you need to use it where it actually adds value to the email. Just having some personalized first line for the sake of it doesn't work anymore. Everyone knows about AI, so when they see emails that have a personalized first line, most people know it was just like some AI generating crap, right? So only use AI hyper personalization if it makes sense. In cases where it's like, all right, if I'm going to offer a free campaign, give some ideas of what that campaign could look like based on context of what we would typically do for clients in their situation. That's where adding AI personalization could be helpful. Otherwise, if you're just mentioning, hey, I saw you went to Harvard and I saw you have a pet dog and I saw you from XYZ place, that doesn't add anything to the email. It's just kind of weird. So these are going to be the general messaging fundamentals. Follow most of these for your emails, and you're going to be in a really good spot with your cold email. Even if you don't use these frameworks I'm about to show you, just follow these guidelines, and the email that you put together will be solid. Now, diving into the script frameworks, the first one is going to be like the lead magnet plus case study framework. How this works is this typically if you have a lead magnet that you can share with people, things like a case study or a playbook or a guide or a cheat sheet of some sort. So reading this, first name created lead magnet for company covering strategy that we use to help client generate results in time frame. So this is a mix of a case study plus the lead magnet. So this is really good to mention an industry aligned case study and then share like the actual case study document or breakdown in this email. This has worked this is really good in any of these ranges where like this wouldn't really work very well for the tough offer. Hey, this one's really solid if you have a pretty solid offer and you have a good case study and you have a solid lead magnet to back it up. This one's solid. Next email is going to be the one-line free offer. So this is going all in on that friend offer. First name, interested in free work / friend offer for company. So example, interested in a free cold email campaign where we target 10,000 of your IC prospects for your company. And then PS, we did this for another B2B SaaS firm, helping them generate 100 calls last month, right? This is a solid case. This is a really, really solid email. This is one of the best performing emails I've ever sent. And it's literally just one line and then the PS. The PS is not necessary. You could just do the one line and it works really, really well. Great email. If you put together a really solid front offer, this one works great. And it's really taking advantage of like that preview text angle I talked about. It's just a hook pretty much. So really good hook, strong angle. Next is going to be if you have a guarantee. So first name, interested in dream result for company in the next time frame. So this is like are you interested in generating 1 million views for your brand in the next 30 days? Asking because our mechanism guarantees for our influencer marketers, our influencer marketing campaigns guarantee 1 million views or we refund you in 30 days. Are you open to it? So if you have a really good guarantee and your strong offer, works really well. Next is pain point solution. So first name, question around a real pain point. So diving into an actual pain point that's relevant to them. Our solution helps fix problems so you can end result worth a look, and then you can add if you want to. But example of this is like a first name. You're carrying a clipboard in one hand and a pen in another. Our AI glasses can help you, get these roofing, so you don't have to carry around a pen a day. Worth a look, right? So that's an example. That's the type of email that we ran for that one client. Yeah, so you have like anything that's any pain point that is like a really strong angle to lead with the people that you work with, then this is a solid email to run. The next email is going to be relevant touch point plus observed issue. So this one is going to be something where you can gather some insights. So first name, relevant touch point, no specific issue you scraped, interested in a quick fix. So an example of this is first name, I noticed that you don't have a welcome flow in your email sequence. I signed up to your email list. First name, just signed up to your email newsletter. Notice that you don't have a welcome flow set up since I didn't receive any emails, or you're interested in a free welcome flow build out. It's a great email. These work really well if you're able to find a good touch point and if you're able to find some sort of like publicly accessible data that you can. This is a solid email to run. And for the sixth angle, it's going to be a unique market insight. First name, question around relevant topic, insight specific to the world, and then CTA around implementing it. First name, notice you're in the healthcare space. Do you post on TikTok? And then in insight specific to the world, healthcare related educational content performs super well on TikTok. Wasn't sure if you're aware about that. We can run a campaign for you for free and show you how it can perform for your healthcare company. So this is something that could be a really, really strong angle. If you have like a really powerful, if you have like a piece in alpha that you can share with them within the email. So these are the email scripts and all the fundamentals. And if you implement what I covered in this video for email scripts, you're going to be in a really, really good spot. I've worked with hundreds of business owners when it comes to their email copying, consulted with them. In my private community, the gteamleads.io, I've helped hundreds of community members with their email copy, helping them get more results from the account. If this is something that you're interested in guidance from me on, go to gteamleads.io. We have a full course, 3 weekly 1-hour coaching calls, daily GT Insight posts, personal DM, weekly workflow drops, John O'Hara tutorials, and then get access to our top 1% got testimonials, the coaches, and then if you join, it's going to start at $247 per month. Talk to your community for what you get for the pricing. I haven't seen anything else in the market that is delivering the level of value that we are
for such a low price. Honestly, we could be charging $1,000 a month for this, but I want to give as many people access to the program as possible.
I love meeting people. I love meeting you all. So that's that. If you're a B2B company that wants to implement campaigns and this kind of just wants to skip all this that I covered today, go to pipeline.tech. It's not pipelinetech.com. It's just, but
essentially our main function, our service, what we provide, and our value point, we reach your entire market cold.
You can apply for a free campaign today. You just come here, you fill out the form, and we can start the free campaign and then dive into paid engagement from there. Yeah, there's a full video explaining how we do it and see all the stuff on our website, etc. So regardless, I'll be fun this video. If there are any questions, just leave comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.